It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Oh, yeah, we hitting great.
Painkiller.
CJ, the painkiller.
Kevin Jackson.
So we need to start acting like a big boy football. It's time for the jet tax to die.
You're listening to Weapons Hot on Sports War Radio and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Darnold fires one into the end zone. It is caught. That's a Jet touchdown.
And now here is your host, CJ, the Painkiller, DeSimone, and Kevin Jackson.
What's going on, Jets Nation? Welcome to another edition of Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan broadcast here on Sports War Radio and the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, CJ the Painkiller DeSimone. I'm normally joined by Kevin Jackson, but he's running a little bit late, so I assume that he will be joining us in a little bit. So nevertheless, as you guys see on your screen, let me introduce you to our special guest who's joining us tonight. Please put your hands together for Mr. Errol Marks.
Hello. Rhythm and blues, baby. Rhythm and blues.
How are you tonight there, Errol?
I'm good, man. I'm just chilling. I'm having a good time. I actually reached out to you early in the day. I said, I want to come on your show. I want to talk a little Jets. I know a lot of Jet fans are humiliated or whatever the hell they want to talk about with the Jets. They're the laughingstock of the NFL right now, but I just think it's all press. It's press coverage. It's throwing the Jets under the bus for some reason because the Jets decided to move on for Jamal Adams. The Jets have been a joke. Adam Gase with all the play calling, and now Joe Douglas coming out at his press conference and saying what he said, that he believes Adam Gase is the solution to the organization and Sam Darnold is the future, when we all know that the great Joe Douglas, and I say the great because I like what he did in the draft this year. I think he's been so far so good as far as draft picks. You've seen Beckham. I think he could be a star. Mims looks like he's a player. We're going to see him again tomorrow. I think we have one of the best punters in the league right now. You've seen what he's done so far because he keeps punting the ball, so it gets better and better every single week. And it looks like we have some players. We're going to see Clark's. I think we're going to see a couple of these guys that he drafted in the later round. So I'm excited about that. But it just seems like that nobody thinks that the New York Jets are a good organization. They think that they're a laughingstock. I will be here for you, my friend, because I know how upset you are what's going on with this organization, and they are an inept organization right now. But all in all, there is good things. I believe there's light at the end of the tunnel with this team. They got a significant amount of draft picks coming up in the next 2 seasons. And by the way, they do have a lot of money on the table for a lot of free agents if they prefer to go after top-notch free agents this year. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I do believe they're on the upscale. It might be a rebuilding stage. We don't know where the Jets are going to go at the quarterback position. Are they going to keep Sam? Do they trust Sam? Or do they move on, trade Sam for a second and a third, or 2 seconds and a third, move on from Sam, and maybe if they get the opportunity to draft Trevor Lawrence, they do so, or if he doesn't want to play for the Jets, we were just talking about that. The Jets trade out of the pick, get 3 or 4 first-round draft picks, or maybe 3 first rounds and maybe a second and a third, 5 picks for the one, and move forward with maybe a Justin Fields. So I don't know. But I do believe this is a good situation that the Jets are in. Adam Gase has to be gone. We'll see that at the end of the season. I cannot see Joe Douglas deciding to keep Adam Gase for another season. It doesn't make any sense when you're going to be bringing in now a possible rookie quarterback. And I do believe that if Trevor Lawrence plans to come out of the draft and the Jets want to draft him, they do not want to show Trevor Lawrence how inept they are, and they keep Adam Gase as the head coach when we know and everybody knows that Adam Gase is not the solution. So there you go.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, right now it's just a matter of just more just logistics or I guess semantics would probably be a much better word. I'm kind of like at the point where I've just accepted what this season is. And basically at this point, really the only thing that I'm concerned about is I want to see the Joe Douglas's rookie class actually get substantial playing time, not just being put in, specific situations in which the Jets are only going to use them on specific downs or in specific playing situations. I want to see Denzel Mims get more targets in a game. I want to see LaMichael Pirine get more carries in a game. I want Jabari Zuniga to actually be injected in this offense and be used in the manner that he was brought in here to be used in, which is quite possibly the New York Jets' future pass rusher. All right. So to me, it's important for the 2020 rookie class to get as much play and as much reps that they can. That being said, just in time for everybody coming off injured reserve, now Sam Darnold is going to be inactive for this upcoming Monday's game versus the Patriots, in which Joe Flacco is going to be getting the start. And this is the first time where Joe Douglas had talked about having Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, and Brashard Perryman on the field at the same time. Now, another thing too, which kind of struck me, was at the end of the last game, Denzel Mims, who only had 3 targets, he was the Jets' leading receiver, even with having the fewest targets. There are still some issues with this offense that we still continue to see week in and week out. And I know that it's a plethora of things that's wrong with this team. But one of the biggest things is that Sam Darnold having a huge target in Denzel Mims should be forcing the ball to him, quite frankly, because especially regardless of what the play call is, if you have a guy who's out there and he's not necessarily the hot route or the hot read or whatever it is you want to call it, if he is repeatedly beating his defender like a drum and he is constantly open, you find ways to get him the ball. And that's on Sam Darnold for not finding him. Now, you could also blame there are some people that are going to say, well, if he doesn't have time to throw the ball, what is he going to do? How is he going to be able to force the ball downfield? Well, then you know what? Then you need to scramble out of the pocket. You need to not stand there like a deer in the headlights and let yourself get plastered over and over and over again. We keep talking about Sam Darnold and his athleticism, but yet it just seems like that the Adam Gase offense and now Darryl Loggins offense, or whoever seems to be calling plays this week, okay, probably Morris from the bad news the Bad News Bears is going to be calling plays this week, okay. So why not design some plays built around your quarterback's strengths? Now this week we kind of take all of that and throw it in the trash because you've got Joe Flacco, probably one of the least mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. He's your prototypical pocket passer, and we don't know exactly what he's going to bring to the table. So I do know that Sam Darnold re-aggravated the shoulder injury that he suffered a couple weeks ago. All right, that's why he's not going to be playing in this game. It's more so just a precautionary measure. But regardless of who's playing, whoever's calling the plays, we've been seeing the same old result on the field. We get about the first 10, 12 plays, scripted plays. Jets are moving the ball up and down the field. They're productive. They're getting yards. Their guys are getting space. And then after that, they can't move the ball to save their life. And then you get rookies being benched because they drop a pass or they drop a ball. You have Chris Herndon, who constantly is being out there used in blocking, that when the ball's actually thrown to him, he's so in his own head at this point that he's got the yips. And I've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks. The only way that a player gets out of the yips is by continuing to throw him the ball, by continuing to put him out there in the field, by continuing to throw him in plays, series after series after series. You have to let a player play out of it. At this point in the season, you have absolutely zero to play for. So why not let these guys that are struggling work their way out of their slumps? Because if not, then bench them. So what are your thoughts about what I just went off on here?
I think right now where the Jets are as an organization, they have to try out what Joe Douglas has drafted. Now, there are players right now we have not seen yet. I want to see these rookies on the field. I want to see what they're capable of doing because the Jets in the offseason, they're going to have a significant amount of money. And I think with Joe Douglas and the way he variates on how he's going to bring players in, he doesn't sign them to long-term deals. He piles up the contract in the beginning. Like, it gives them guaranteed a certain amount of money, and then he can opt out of the contract after a year. I think that there are players that are going to be available this offseason, guys like Julio Jones. I think Atlanta's going to move on from him and Matt Ryan. I could see that. Matt Ryan might be, if not this year, this coming year after this, that might be his last year. But I don't know, because what you heard with what Artie said, and I call him Artie, the owner of Atlanta, he says that there's nobody that is safe there anymore. So because this is an organization that was in a Super Bowl 3 or 4 years ago. So 3 years ago. So they again, it's any team's guess what the Jets are going to do in the offseason. I trust Joe Douglas. I do. I trust it. I think there's a lot of laughing stock of the New York Jets and I say laughing stock because every single thing that goes on with the press, it comes out even harder at the New York Jets organization. I do look at the Johnson family. They do throw themselves under the bus, especially Chris Johnson coming out and saying a couple of weeks ago, saying that Adam Gase, he believes, is still a quarterback guru / offensive guru, when we all know straight up and down that this guy cannot coach as far as a head coach is concerned, and especially his offensive play calling. It doesn't make sense. You have a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field. You decide to run the ball. When you decide to run the ball too much, you decide to throw the ball at bad situations. I think that the Jets organization has to look at the big picture here. And you cannot honestly sit here and tell me, Mr. Douglas, as smart as you are, and I know a lot of people, Mark Malusis on WFAN this past week, and Maggie Gray, who's the absolute worst on sports radio. Absolute worst. Nagging. I can't stand listening to her. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, and she's a Buffalo Bills fan. But anyways, she's got her own thoughts to whatever she thinks. I think she needs to worry about what she thinks she knows. But the Jets organization is getting attacked by two people on sports media and sports radio. One that's a Washington football team fan, and the other one that's a Buffalo Bills fan. So they're going to take shots at the Jets, including JJ, who is a Miami Dolphin fan. Nobody knows. And then you have Joe Beningo and Evan Roberts. Shout out to Joe Beningo, by the way. Great career, 25 years on sports radio. One of the best. I absolutely have a tremendous amount of respect for Joe Beningo. He's a guy that I've grown up listening to him for the last, 10 years. I really was in depth with WFAN. So shout out to Joe. But even the Jets, they look at the Jets as a joke. I still think that when you look at the big picture right now as an organization, they need to clean house now. Joe Douglas, the Johnson family needs to give Joe Douglas full control of where this team is going after Adam Gase is gone. Patting Adam Gase on the back at the end of the game, watching Christopher Johnson smile and pat Adam Gase on the back doesn't satisfy a Jet fan. It doesn't. A lot of Jet fans are not absolutely happy about what they see on the sidelines with Christopher Johnson. And I do believe Woody is going to be back now. So what does that tell you guys? I as much as everybody makes fun of Woody Johnson and what Woody Johnson has done, Woody Johnson listens to the fans. Christopher Johnson doesn't. If you remember, when fans wanted John Isnick out of the door the first year he came in, what did they do? A plane flew over. We saw that with Adam Gase this year. Adam Gase would have been fired if Woody Johnson was running the organization.
Yes,
he would have been fired. He would have been fired. Woody Johnson is coming back. And when Woody Johnson, now that Donald Trump is no longer the president of the United States, Woody Johnson's coming back here. And Woody Johnson's going to control the team. So I expect in Woody to say, you know what, Chris, we're going to give the reins to this guy. Let's see what this guy could do for the next 5 years for this organization. Let him make the decisions and let him decide on who comes and who goes. And I believe that if the Jets do that, this can change the franchise for the better. Now, I don't know if the Johnson family is going to do that, but I do believe that Woody Johnson, if he listens to the fans, so all this stuff that we're talking and they see it, and people are talking on their crazy podcasts, and I'm talking about the people that hate the New York Jets. what they say on their podcast. I'm sure the Johnson family hears it. I'm sure Woody hears it. He gets letters all the time. He answered. If you guys watched him on Hard Knocks, Woody Johnson answers to all his fan mail. So I'm telling you, this is going to be a different age for the New York Jets now. I really do believe. I don't know if they're going to be a Super Bowl contender next year, but everybody knows in football, you can change in one season into a playoff contending team. We've seen it many, many times. A bad team turn into a playoff contending team. So I just think people need to, and I know you're upset, CJ. You have every right to be upset. I listened to Kevin trying to compare Sam Darnold to Geno Smith, which is a joke. By the way, I love Kevin. Absolutely love the man. But comparing Geno Smith to Sam Darnold is a joke. And I don't want to hear, well, Sam Darnold didn't have any weapons. Give me a break. I mean, I'm sorry, not Sam Darnold. Geno Smith didn't have any weapons. He had weapons. He just got slugged in the face by his own linebacker. That's why he didn't really get the opportunity to play. And when he did come back, he couldn't throw the ball. He looked like an idiot when he played I think it was the Houston Texans. So again, everybody keeps saying, well, Geno was a better player. We don't even know who Sam Darnold is because we haven't put players around him. There was nothing available in free agency last year. And even though this was a wide receiver class, like everybody says, by the way, how many good wide receivers have we seen in this class? Maybe there was 16 drafted in the first 2 rounds. I would say probably 6 or 7 look good. And the rest, okay. So, and I know it's early, but we don't know what these guys are going to turn out to be. So again, Denzel Mims could be a beast. You're absolutely right. And why are they not targeting him? Only explains one thing. The play calling on the sidelines is inept, and Sam Darnold needs to open up his goddamn eyes. His eyes need to open up wide and look at a big target. You can tell how big Denzel Mims is on the football field. He's huge. He's the biggest guy at the line of scrimmage. He's 6'3". He can jump. You saw the catches. He had 3 targets in the first quarter, and he disappeared after that. Disappeared.
Yeah, and that's because of the fact that reports had came out that he was benched because of the fact that he dropped a pass. He dropped his only pass in the game. So he had 2 catches. He had 3 targets, but yet he still put up more yards in those 2 catches than the rest of the offense combined. That's pathetic. And for Adam Gase to actually have the balls to put this kid on the sideline and to punish the kid by not giving him more game reps just because he dropped a pass is completely ridiculous. Because Adam Gase should get his ass kicked by every single person on that sideline on a weekly basis. The fact that his play calling, his offense, and all of his nonsense is the reason why the Jets are 0-8 and possibly staring 0-9 in the face. And I'm sorry, a lot of people are saying, oh, yeah, the Jets will be able to beat the Patriots. No, I don't put any stock in that. Because this is Bill Belichick we're talking about. This is Cam Newton we're talking about. And if you go and take a look at the games the Patriots have played this year, it's not as if that the Patriots have been getting blown out by double digits like the New York Jets have been all year. The Patriots have the record that they have because Cam Newton lost 3 of those games single-handedly by himself.
CJ,
on game-winning drives, 1 by throwing a pick, 2 of them by fumbling the ball away.
CJ, can I ask you a question?
Sure, you can always ask me a question.
Who said that Denzel Mims didn't play? He got benched.
This was a word report coming out of the Jets locker room out of the mouth of Adam Gase, apparently. Because that was reported right after the game. Go talk to your boy Rich Cimini. Go talk to Brian Costello. They were the ones who plastered it all over fucking social media.
Really? I didn't even hear it. I thought he was on the field Now, I saw him on the field. He didn't get any targets. Maybe they didn't bench him. They just didn't target him. He was on the field. I saw him on the field. They just
right, but here's the thing. Regardless of whether the guy drops a pass arrow, if the guy is beating his defender like a drum and he's 10, 15 yards, 20 yards down the field, I don't give a shit if he drops 5 passes. You tell Sam or whoever's in Sam's ear to get the ball to that kid.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, the process of winning a game is scoring more points than your opponent. And right now, I don't care about Adam Gase's pride. I don't care about his playbook. I don't care about his purple dildo or whatever the hell he's got, whatever his problem is.
He has a purple dildo?
I'm sure he probably does.
Wow, that's nice.
So I think he stole
yellow.
it from Ashley Hart.
Oh, there you go. I thought he had a yellow one. I mean, he's not a Green fan. He's not a Green fan. You can see how he coaches. So obviously,
right, exactly. So but that's neither here nor there. It's like, look, if you're going to call yourself a quarterback guru, and I hate it when he calls him that, because you know what? He's not a guru or shit. All right, I'm sorry. I was really trying during this show not to curse, but every time I talk about friggin' Adam Gase, I swear to God, I want to separate his head from the rest of his fucking body. Because every time I see him, he just looks like he just did a couple lines of coke, and he just stares at the friggin' camera like, I am just absolutely sick of Adam Gase, his press conference, and everything that surrounds him. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of Darryl Loggins. I'm sick of that entire coaching staff.
Are you sick of anybody else? No.
So you want me to keep going? I'll keep going.
No, I think we all understand what's going on with the organization. We know that there's going to be some transition with this organization moving forward. And I think as a Jet fan, you guys just need to take a step back. We've seen this over and over again. So just sitting back for another season and deciding who our next coach is, I have a feeling it's going to be a college coach. I really do. I really think the Jets are going to look towards a college team, bringing in a college coach, bringing in new breath of fresh air of type of play calling that we've seen in college football than the NFL. And it has worked. Maybe it'll work for the Jets. Maybe it won't. But I think Joe Douglas understands what the future holds for the New York Jets. He holds it. I mean, he holds the path to him. He's built it. Trading Jamal Adams opens up a slew of opportunity for them to draft. Maybe to draft down. Maybe they decide with the 2 first rounds, if they decide to take Trevor Lawrence at 1, the Seahawks pick, they decide to trade down and get more seconds and just compile second-round draft picks so you have 5 or 6. I mean, who knows what the Jets are planning to do, but I do believe that the organization, even though Malusis, and I went back to Malusis said that he has done nothing. Him and Maggie Gray says he's done nothing, and that all the things that he said at the press conference is like this guy's become a joke for the Jets. All the Jet fans that keep saying that he's great. What has he done? What has he done? This is what Malusis was saying. Well, here's what I would say to Mark Malusis, and I have a lot of respect for Mark Malusis. Here's what I'll tell you what he's done. He's been in here for a year and a half. Okay. He hasn't won that many games as the New York Jets GM. There's no question. He won 7 last year, and he's going to win none this year. So it doesn't look bright for him. He took over a team from Mike McCagnon that had really no talent whatsoever, except maybe Quinnen Williams. At the time, he was looking like a bust. Jamal Adams, Marcus May. That's about it. And Sam Darnold. I mean, that's about it. That's all he had. I mean, everybody else, there was nothing left there. There was nothing good over there. There was nothing. No pass rushers, no offensive line, young offensive linemen. That's why they had to transition to a new offensive line this year. 5 new starters. I mean, let's be honest. There was nothing to look forward to. Okay? Now, as much as you want to say whatever you want, you do have things to look forward to. Quinnen Williams looks like he's going to be a player. He really does. He looks like he's going. Mekhi Becton is going to be an all-pro left tackle. He's going to stay healthy. He's going to be an all-pro tackle.
Arrow, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Simon Baccarello, who's watching the show. And also shout out to Jocka T and also Mike Smith. Simon chimes in with trading Jamal was a genius move. I happen to agree with him. So although from trading Jamal did set the Jets defense back this year, and also
How did it set him back? How did it set him back? As a matter of fact, if you look at the Jets defense and where they were ranked last year and where they're ranked this year, they're practically in the same place. So, I mean, there's really no change. What did they fall behind? Maybe 2 spots as a defense? I mean, Let's be honest. The Jets' run defense is one of the best in the league. It's absolutely – their red zone defense is one of the best in the league. The only thing the Jets have a problem with is when a time gets tough or teams need to gain 15 yards on a 3rd and 15, it's easy. It's absolutely easy against the Jets. That's it. That's the Jets' defense.
They've given up the most 3rd down conversions in the league.
Absolutely. So that's where we see the Jets. But to say that the Jets are far away with not looking forward to some of the players, they have players. They do. They're going to have players. I don't know what Ashton Davis is yet. I still think he's going to be a familiar face for the Jets organization for many, many years to come. This kid, man, looks like he's a good punter. He might even make the Pro Bowl team this year. He's looked really good. I mean, there's some things to look forward to this organization. The only thing that worries me now is if Adam Gase sincerely thinks, and I'm not Adam Gase, Joe Douglas absolutely thinks Adam Gase is, to him, a solution, not a problem with the organization. I don't believe it because I know Adam Gase. I keep saying Adam Gase. Joe Douglas told us a few weeks before he traded Jamal Adams that he wants Jamal here for the rest of his career. He's a Jet for life. And then all of a sudden he makes the trade with Seattle and gets 2 first-round draft picks, a 3rd, and Bradley McDougald. So this is a guy that plays, I guess you could say, cat and mouse with some of these GMs. And I believe he will play cat and mouse with Trevor Lawrence, even if Trevor Lawrence comes out of the draft. Because to me, in his solution of where this Jets team is going might be 2 or 3 years away. And maybe he says, Trevor Lawrence isn't our guy. Maybe he says that, you know what we're going to do? We're going to compile 1st-round draft picks for the next 4 or 5 years. And when the guy comes out that I like, that fills in that perception of a Jets quarterback, I will go with that. If Sam Darnold isn't the guy, maybe he says he thinks Sam could be the guy. We just got to put the team and the right guys around him. Who knows what Joe Douglas is thinking? But here's what I do think. I am wearing boxer briefs right now. I haven't crapped in my pants or peed in my pants yet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that I think the Jets organization is moving in somewhat of a proper direction. It just doesn't show like that on the press, in the press of what you're seeing. There's nothing anybody's going to talk about the Jets being that they have 0 wins. And they're going to go undefeated. They're not going to win a game this year. They're not. So there's a reason why Joe Douglas wants to do this, because he believes what he has done with Jamal Adams could open up a swing box of possible trade acquisitions or maybe getting the quarterback that can change the franchise that everybody has been looking for the last 50 seasons.
All right, so we're going to transition into our next subject over here. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Weapons Hot, a New York Jets fan podcast.
I'm sorry.
There we go.
I'm sorry.
On the Worldwide Sports Radio Network and Sports War Radio, CJ the Painkiller DeSimone here, Mr. Errol Marks over there.
Where's Kev?
Kevin Jackson is missing in action right now. I don't know, maybe doing his best Shaft impersonation. Who knows? I'm definitely going to be teasing.
Damn right.
So, but anyhow, Errol, you brought something up before we took the air tonight about the hidden camera story in the New York Jets locker rooms. That was something that broke a couple of days ago. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, supposedly, the NFL has rules and regulations, and one of the rules is you cannot have cameras in your locker room or anybody else's locker room in your stadium. The Jets have cameras in their locker room, but they have come out and said they have not committed any violations as far as filming or recording anything that is going on in the locker room where it's throwing the organization, the players out there where the press can get some information. Okay. I will tell you this, even if it's true, what are you going to do? You're going to fine them? This isn't Spygate. You're not stealing signs from other teams. You have cameras and looking at people's jock straps. I mean, seriously.
No. Simon Baccarella just chimed in and said it was Manish.
Of course. And now ESPN wrote a story, and now everybody's writing a story about this, and it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And I know it's just trying to make Trevor Lawrence or whoever thinks that this organization is inept and he doesn't want to come out of the draft. That's what these stories are coming out with. And Manish wants to put himself on, the pedestal, and he wants to make sure that people know who he is. So him spreading these rumors is just throwing the Jets even deeper and deeper under the rug. And the Jets, actually, the reason why Manish hates the Jets now is they have not invited him as a press guy to any more Jet games. They canceled his credentials. So he can never go to a Jet facility again. They do not want him interviewing any of the players anymore. So Manish is out for blood, and I believe that. And I don't care what Manish says. How's that sound? And if he wants to spread rumors and people want to spread rumors about this organization, so be it. This organization needs to open up its eyes. Let this guy take over this organization. Let him be the guy to make the last decision. Not the coach has to go to the owner and the GM has to go to the owner. The GM is the only one that should go to the owner.
Let me ask you a serious question. Okay. When the Johnsons first took ownership of the New York Football Jets, okay, they had the ability to turn the keys to the castle over to Bill Belichick. Why didn't they do it? Seriously, this is
Bill
the thing
Belichick.
that gets stuck in my craw. This is the thing that gets stuck in my craw when it comes to the New York Jets power structure within that organization. Okay, because having a GM and having a head coach on equal footing makes absolutely zero sense to me.
Yeah.
Your head coach reports to your GM reports to your president of football operations, and the president of football operations reports to the owner. Okay? Plain and simple. That is a normal, structured NFL franchise hierarchy.
Right.
Why do the New York Jets have the most ass-backwards hierarchy known to man? Number one. And number two, proven results that it does not work. Okay, so here is my dilemma. As much as I want to believe in Joe Douglas as the general manager of the New York Jets at this time,
right,
I do not have the confidence that the Johnsons will actually grab themselves by the balls and open up their eyes and realize that the way that they've been doing things has not resulted in the desired outcome that they are seeking. The New York Jets are a sub 500 team for the past 10 years. 10. Not one, not two, not even 5. 10. Okay? 10 years since the last time that this team has seen a playoff appearance. What more does both Woody Johnson and Christopher Johnson need to see for them to say, you know what? Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's us. Maybe we need to turn the keys over to the football guys and let the football guys do the football work.
Well,
please give me your thoughts. I'm curious.
Those were great. That was like a Donald Trump awareness speech right there, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. You should have put some enthusiasm into it. Oh yeah, the Macho Man Radio. I don't know. There's got to be something with the New York Jets.
Oh yeah,
Macho Man. I mean, like, oh, you know what, brother? We're gonna kick the shit out of somebody. I don't know, but. I just think that right now with this organization, that's why I'm mentioning old wrestlers because I'm not a wrestling fan anymore, but I just think it's a comedy show. And it's just, to me, the Jets right now is just entertainment for the NFL. That's what they are. They're entertainment.
So we need Hulk Hogan to come on down in like his old, black and white NWO, Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
I like it. Little that. I mean, it's seriously right now with the Jets organization, it's just entertainment, and that's what they are. There's got to be somebody that's going to stand out in the offseason where they're the laughing stock. The last couple of years, it's been the Browns. Now it's the Jets, and then eventually it'll probably be the Giants. Because as much as everybody thinks that the Giants are in a pretty good shape, the Giants don't have a slew of draft picks that they gained from trading anybody. And the Giants don't have money to spend next year as far as free agency. So they're practically going to be coming back with this same team they had this year, which means very bad. Okay. So, I'm not taking shots at the Giants. I'm just saying that the Jets will be looking in the rearview mirror in the next couple, and probably in the next year and a half, because they're going to have a significant opportunity to maneuver and really draw opportunity to get the players that they want and draft right. And I think Joe Douglas has hit on the first year's draft. Let's see what he does next year. Fans, I wanted to come on the show because I wanted to give you guys a little bit reassurance. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Jet fan, because if you guys listen to my show, everybody knows and their mother knows that I completely hate what I see with the New York Jets. I am completely objective with watching this team now moving forward. But when you have a great guy like Kevin Jackson over there, who I absolutely respect, but trying to compare Sam Darnold to Geno Smith is a joke. And then the technical things that some of these people say, and I'm not saying you, my friend CJ, but all you Jet fans that think you're Jet fans, but only think that you're Jet fans because you like to throw your team under the bus.
Errol, this one's for you, brother.
Anyway, we only recorded it because we like it.
Just because you brought this up.
I really am sorry. I'll tell you what we'll do, though. We'll play Voodoo Child's Slight Return for you, okay?
Only because we brought up Hulk Hogan and the NWO. I got to bring this up.
Play good for them. Yeah, right.
Oh, you want to play this? You want to play? Ding, 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 ding.
Exactly. So we got the studio version of Voodoo Child.
Well, it's a voodoo, all right.
Yeah, it's a voodoo. It's a voodoo doll. So too bad we don't have an Adam Gase voodoo doll. That'd be nice.
You know, I might make a song. I might write a couple of lyrics about Adam Gase and probably sing it to this track, you know, put a little instrumental. I think that would be really, really funny. I think me and Speedy might have to do that. I mean, I think it would be really, really funny, and it'll add a little bit of significant craziness.
All right, there we go. So you feel it?
Oh, yeah, I feel it. Woo! Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wiggle and jiggle it.
There you go. Come on, give us some. All you people watching, come on, get on up.
Come on. Woo! That's right, Adam.
Yeah, there we go.
That's right, Adam. You stink, Adam. You stink, Adam. Oh, 16, Adam. Oh, it's 16, Adam. Well,
I had to have some fun with that. Come on.
Oh, 16 and Adam. Oh, man. I mean, Adam Gase, what a joke. I mean, seriously. You know, if I could daggle some meat in front of some alligators or crocodiles, I wouldn't have to daggle anything. All you got to do is look at Adam Gase's face and his goggly eyes. Those alligators and crocodiles will go crazy. They don't need meat. They just got to look at Adam's eyes. Oh, my God. I mean, the guy is just out of control, man. But you want to know something? This all has prolonged through all the inept decisions. And everybody says, well, Woody Johnson, he sucked too. Here's the thing. When I'll say this again, when the fans talk, when Woody Johnson was running this team, every time the fans talked, the next season, Woody would do practically what the fans wanted him to do. So I think Woody listens to the fans. Now, the question is Woody coming back, and is he going to control this team again? And if he does, I think the best thing Woody Johnson could do is take the reins away from Christopher Johnson, because let's be honest, Christopher Johnson has been even worse than Woody. He's been horrific. I mean, this Adam Gase move over Mike McCarthy was the most ridiculous move. They should have brought in Matt Rule. That's what they should have done. But that was another disgrace of an organization. But that's just me. I just think that right now, the smartest thing the Jets could do is let this guy run this team. I don't want to hear about Mark Malusis. You're not a Jet fan. You don't know what you're talking about. Read your stories. Listen to Ryan, Costello or this guy or that guy, anybody of the writers. I want to hear this, and I want to say this. Everybody that said Quentin Williams was gone before the trade deadline or at the trade deadline was absolutely wrong, because he's still there with the Jets. Whatever rumors and stories keep coming out that they're going to trade this guy and that guy, they trade the right guys, the guys that they wanted to get rid of their contracts off the cap. So next year they have even more money, because the CBA is going to be down because of COVID-19. So guys, Jet fans, take a step back, breathe a little bit, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. I know 50 years of no winning really disgusts you, but the Jets are one of only probably 16 or 18 NFL teams that actually won a Super Bowl. And there's a lot of teams that haven't even come close to winning the Super Bowl. So take a step back, breathe a little bit, and understand that the Jets have a good opportunity next year to make significant moves if they do the right thing and bring in the right coach, which we don't have any confidence in so far, because Adam Gase is a complete joke. But maybe Joe Douglas will make the right decision in the offseason and put the right guy in position to succeed with this organization. Now, before I go, I do want to sing you guys a nice, very beautiful song written by me. Okay. And it is written by me because there is greatness in everything that I do. Okay. So I'm not going to give you guys everything, because I will be singing it tomorrow on my show, but I will give you some words of wisdom on this. The Jets are an organization that will run. The Giants are an organization that will drive. But the Patriots organization is a team that is going to dig. That's all I'm going to tell you on that one. So dig. The hole is opening for that organization. And trust me, that hole is going to be dug for years, because that organization is not winning shit. Okay. So there you go. That's all I'm going to tell you. So the Jets might lose tomorrow, and I believe they will. Hopefully they will, because it's the best for that organization moving forward is losing. But all in all, the Patriots are an organization that is backbreaking terrible. They have nothing to look forward to. They're going to lose some free agents next year, because they're in a situation with their money situation. That's why they're going to try to trade Gilmore in the offseason and the kid, I forget the guard that they have, the All-Pro guard. I think it's Tui, whatever his name is, Lucci, whatever. I don't know. I forget his name. But
Joe Tooney.
Joe Tooney, yes, Tooney. The Jets are going to have an opportunity to significantly build on what they built this offseason with their offensive line that needs an offseason and preseason games to figure things out as a team. And I think the Jets are in pretty good shape in free agency to maybe make a trade, because they have a significant amount of draft picks, maybe a Julio Jones. I think that would make a very good sense if you're going to bring a Trevor Lawrence or even a Justin Fields to this organization. If Sam Darnold isn't the guy, you want to bring in a guy that is a veteran and that can help the kid grow. That's something they haven't done with Sam Darnold. And unfortunately, Sam Darnold he's going to go somewhere else. He's going to succeed. But let's hope that Joe Douglas puts the right guys in position to give whoever they bring in as the next New York Jets quarterback an opportunity to succeed early in their career. So it gives that kid confidence moving forward. And that's all I'm going to say about that. CJ, I love you, man.
I love you too, Arrow. Thank you again for joining me tonight on Short.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate it. Really quick, tell everybody about your show that you have coming in tomorrow night, so that way people can tune in.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to have special guests. We're going to have recruits. Shout out to Jillian. I'm trying to get Tyler Harrison back on the show. You know, he did a show on us a long time ago, and he doesn't watch sports anymore. And I think it would be really, really funny to go back and forth and banter with that idiot. But I don't think he's ever going to join me. He's a little afraid to the movement in motion behind the lotion, but I don't know. All in all, by the way, Down to the Wire is on every single Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. Wednesday, Below the Mic is on 6 to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. I'm going to change I am going to have one show and one show only name very, very soon. And I'm not going to reveal the name until the logo is out. It's not going to be called Below the Mic or Down to the Wire anymore. I built the names, but I think this is where it's going to build to. And I'm going to do another show where it's going to be like a Tosh.0. That's what I'm going to do, where I'm going to stand in front of a green screen during the show. Speedy is going to put up pictures and videos in games and some of the interesting things that you see on the sidelines, and maybe there's some goofy, stupid things that we see in the world. And I'm going to have some fun with it. And I'm going to have people laughing, joking. You can call the show. You can see the craziness. And maybe I'll smack Speedy a couple of times. So we'll have Speedy dancing. Maybe we'll have Speedy. I do want to, possibly have some bets with Speedy where he can eat some dog food on the show or something. If he loses, he's going to have to do some things. It's going to be real, real fun. Wow. And I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with it because we've been doing it on Snapchat after our shows every single week. And if you guys want to check out our Snapchat, it's pretty funny. It's you can find it at Sports on the Go 1 on our Snapchat. I actually do a lot of behind the scenes stupidity, asking crazy questions to Speedy and disgusting questions. So viewer discretion is
especially about the whole tidy whities there with the long snapper from Florida.
Well, yeah, tidy whities, but there are a lot worse things that we talk about. So viewer discretion is advised. Speedy actually is a prude guy, so he doesn't know what I'm talking about. So it's really, really funny, and I think you guys will really enjoy the comedy to it. I think you do. But anyways, I want people to know that we're very excited with some of the new shows that we're bringing onto the network. I will be bringing some more football shows, maybe another Jet show to the network soon. I want to solidify CJ because he to me, he's my lead guy for when it comes to the New York Jets. But I think there's a lot of Jet shows that are very intriguing and very interesting, to say the least. And I think maybe I maybe not a Jet show, maybe a New York sports show or something like that. But I think the Jets right now, I think the Jet fans, I know everybody who's watching and who follows CJ and loves CJ, and I do too. And I like Kevin too, even though he's hiding under your bed or something. I don't know what he's doing. But I will say this, as a Jet fan and as a Jet fan that's honest as a Jets, or, a Jets fan, you guys just need to relax. Stop listening to what the press says. Stop trying to jump off a bridge. It's sports. It's entertainment. I think the Jets will figure this out. If Adam Gase is fired at the end of the year, I think we're going to bring in a guy that I think Joe Douglas will bring in the right guy. I really do believe this. So I don't really believe he thinks Adam Gase is the solution. So, and if he does, he's got to stop drinking whatever he's drinking, because he knows how to draft. He knows how to draft. We could tell. I mean, one draft, it looks good. It looks good for him. And now he's got a significant amount of early first round and second round and third round draft picks. I want to see him hit on those. If he does that, he can really build this team in 2 years as far as young players, a nucleus of players, good players. And then you can build around free agency, where I think the Jets can bring in some decent talent and maybe overpay some of these guys in the beginning. But all in all, Le'Veon Bell wasn't the right guy. So I look at what Le'Veon Bell's doing with Kansas City. Is he scoring a lot? He's not. All right. So Le'Veon Bell he might help Kansas City in certain situations if they lose a player or lose a running back to injury. But Le'Veon Bell is not the same Le'Veon Bell that played for Pittsburgh. So stop jumping off a bridge, ladies and gentlemen. It's all good. It's all good. So go to the bathroom, take your dump, take your piss, and enjoy the show, okay? Because I'm going to leave this show to CJ, the painkiller Desimone, and hopefully Kevin comes out of the bathroom, the bed, or whatever the heck he's doing and join the show, because I want to see some craziness. Just please don't compare Sam Darnold to Geno Smith. I'm going to have a heart attack. All right, CJ, I got to go.
All right, Errol, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. Guys, don't forget to check out Errol Marks' show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network tomorrow night at 6 p.m. sharp. All right, and I'm going to leave you guys with a few final thoughts as I wrap up Weapons Hot this evening. Simon Baccarella chiming in. We are headed in the right direction, no doubt in my mind. Simon, I hope you're right. I really do. So the biggest thing, again, that I voiced my opinion on is that I worry the most about the Johnsons. And the thing about the Johnsons that really scares me is, do they actually have the chutzpah, or will they actually have the self-control to be able to say, hey, look, we've been doing it this way for a little while. It hasn't worked. We haven't seen the playoffs in 10 years. Let's go ahead. Let's let our football guys make their football decisions. And that's what they need to do. And personally, in my opinion, that's the only way we're going to really start to see some real change within this franchise, is if the Johnson brothers can truly agree that you need to let Joe Douglas call the shots, change the hierarchy in the reporting, and have Joe Douglas run the ship from this point forward. Let him pick his guy. Let that guy pick his quarterback, pick his staff, do whatever it is he needs to do. Joe Douglas get him the players, and then just do it the right way. That's really it. Because, like Errol mentioned a little bit ago on the show, we have seen teams be able to turn things around rather quickly. So in your traditional 4 to 5 year rebuild of an NFL franchise, might not necessarily take your full 4 to 5 years. It could possibly take maybe 1 to 2 years, depending on the talent influx that you have coming on, how attractive a destination it'll be for NFL free agents and so on and so forth. Plus, if you bring the right guy in as head coach, a lot of people are talking about Jim Harbaugh. Open up the checkbook, get Jim Harbaugh, because he's won as an NFL head coach, and he's not really having a great time over in Michigan. There's an option. I still like Eric Bieniemy. There's also the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, whose name has been kicked around. Todd Bowles is a name that's been kicked around again, although I don't think he'd be very well received back here in New York. So that's definitely off the table. But I'm sure that there are some other people that they could look at in the collegiate ranks. Some people were talking about Dabo Swinney. If you go and you get Trevor Lawrence, maybe go and get Dabo Swinney too, and you get the two of them as a package deal. We don't necessarily know if that's even possible. So some people have even talked about Georgia offensive coordinator Todd Monken possibly making a return to the NFL. Okay. Now, speaking of Todd Monken, Florida and Georgia played yesterday, with the Florida Gators actually taking a victory in that game over in Jacksonville. Now, I had put a couple of posts on Facebook in which Kyle Trask had 4 touchdown passes already just in the first half of that game, and he had more touchdown passes than Sam Darnold had all year. I want everyone to wrap their heads around that very simple concept right there. Kyle Trask of the Florida Gators had 4 passing touchdowns in 30 minutes of football. And if you go and take a look at Sam Darnold's stats up to this point, Sam Darnold only has 3 passing touchdowns this season, and we're 8 games going into 9 games in. Okay? So when we talk about quarterback gurus, and Adam Gase is a quarterback whisperer, and Adam Gase is an offensive guru, and he's coaching to where football's going, no, he's not. No, he's not. Adam Gase is a turd that's circling the toilet bowl that right now just needs to be flushed. Plain and simple. So, until that happens, a lot of the Jet fan base is going to continue to have the angst that we currently have. Because until we know for certain that this idiot's been shown the door, nothing is certain. So, until that happens, that's why Jet fans feel, like myself, the way that they do. Now, I don't necessarily read much into the articles, although I do read quite a few articles pretty much every day. You know, I get a lot of my Jets information from the articles that I read, from the podcasts that I listen to, from the different videos that I watch, and so on and so forth. I don't have access to the All 22. I tried to get access to the All 22. So I'm not privy to be able to get that. But I do watch the game multiple times, especially with wanting to see plays in specific spots where and why the offense is struggling, why the defense is struggling. But you really don't need a seeing eye dog to see why this team is struggling. Sam Darnold is not a fit for Adam Gase / Darryl Loggins' playbook. He's not a fit for this offense. Plain and simple. And the weapons that are around him, or lack thereof, they're not being used properly. So we could point to this factor. We could point to that factor. We could point to another factor. But at the end of the day, you're still at the same result. And until Adam Gase and his coaching staff has left the building and we strip this down to the studs, however that entails, whether cutting veterans, whether it's trading people away for draft assets in the offseason, or whatever the problem, or whatever anyone thinks the solution is going to be, this Jet team is going to be stuck in neutral until those changes can start to be made. And that's going to make for another miserable 8 weeks of football. As I said at the beginning of the show, really the only thing that I'm looking forward to is to seeing the progression and the development of the rookies. I want to see LaMichael Piron get some more carries. I want to see Cameron Clark actually come out and get some reps in the offensive line. I want to see Jabari Zuniga come out and actually have an impact on the defensive side of the ball. Let's have Ashton Davis learn from some of the mistakes that he's already made and have him be able to rebuild some of that confidence that maybe he lost. Okay? Denzel Mims, let him get out there and catch some balls. Be a part of the offense. Try to energize and spark plug this offense. Ty Johnson's another one. Okay? He's someone who I'd like to see exactly what you have in this kid. Okay? Constantly throwing the ball to Braxton Berrios and Vincent Smith and Jeff Smith does absolutely nothing to me. Because you still have Chris Herndon is struggling. You still have Ryan Griffin that's struggling. You still have Trayvon Wesco who's being used sporadically. Guys that you told all of us at the offseason that were going to be an integral and focal part of this offensive machine, you're not using. Or you're using incorrectly. So, like Simon Baccarella just mentioned in the comments, I'm looking at the progression of the young players. That's what I'm looking at too, Simon. I completely agree with you. And Matthias Simon, shout out to him. He said 2 words, clean house. And you know what? He's right. And that's exactly what Jet fans want right now. We need to scrub away this entire organization, coaching staff, everything needs to be cleansed, needs to be purged. And the sooner that purge process begins, that's when the Jets fans' angst that you see on social media is going to start to dial down. That's when you're going to start to see guys start to say, okay, you know what? Now maybe we can take a deep breath. But until that point happens, until Adam Gase, until the press release comes out, or the press conference comes, that Black Monday, when Adam Gase is shown the door and Greg Williams is shown the door and the entire coaching staff is shown the door, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we are going to have to look at every single week for the rest of the NFL regular season if you are a New York Jets fan. Matthias Simon chimed back in. We need a real football man at head coach. Absolutely. So, Matthias, really quick, if you could, who would you like to see coaching the New York Jets? Simon Baccarella, same question. Anybody who's listening or commenting in the comments, give me your thoughts. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Who is one guy that you would say, I would love to have this guy as the New York Jets head coach? I want to know. I really do. Because I know I got my guy. I've already made it clear. I would love to have Eric Bieniemy here. But the only problem with having Eric Bieniemy here is this the only place that is he going to want to come here? Because right now the New York Jets are not an attractive destination. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, I would go with the Andy Reid tree there, Matthias. Chris Langbacher Sr. Chiming in again with Eric Bieniemy. So we got two different people that are saying Eric Bieniemy that are on the same line of thinking that I am. What about Jim Harbaugh? Is Jim Harbaugh at the top of anybody's list? I know he's not at the top of mine. Now, I know he does have like a 44-17 record as an NFL head coach, but after coming off the disaster that Michigan is, and him pretty much, if he were to actually leave college and then come back to the NFL, I don't know. I don't know if that's a chance that I would want to take. Because sometimes there are coaches that leave the NFL circuit and go to college and do not have the same success, that then come back to the NFL level and don't necessarily have the same success. Chris Langenbacher Sr., do you think Rex Ryan comes back? No, I don't. I think Rex Ryan is done. Because I think that if Rex Ryan wanted to get another head coaching job or wanted another defensive coordinator job, I think he would have gotten it by now. So Matthias Simon chiming in, we need more of someone in control. He could be a hothead. Probably referencing to Jim Harbaugh. Am I correct? You know what? Maybe sometimes that's something what we need. One of the biggest problems with this New York Jets squad right now is that there is absolutely zero accountability and zero discipline. So and you see that by the amount of personal foul penalties that the New York Jets have amassed. So, for me, I'm kind of like, when you start to play undisciplined football, it has a chain reaction because then those things are not so easily cleaned up. Simon Baccarella chiming in, I'm not sold on Bieniemy. The team is loaded at every permission and play calls are from Reed. Yes and no, because Bieniemy has had a hand and has worked side by side with Andy Reid for several years now. So some of those play calls are identical, believe it or not. And there was some of the stuff that even Reid has created. So Reid has created and Bieniemy has created some of his own. So I'm kind of on the fence with that one. But look at what we got now. That's all I'm saying. Look at what we got now. I would take Eric Bieniemy and the unknown over the shit that we got right now. Because honestly, as much as everyone's screaming for Trevor Lawrence and so on and so forth, I'm not ready to close the book on Sam Darnold yet. Now, for the trade deadline, and I'm going to be 100% honest with everyone out there, if I were Joe Douglas, especially knowing that Jimmy Garoppolo is on injured reserve, and they're now going to Nick Mullins, that would have been a perfect opportunity for me to call up San Francisco. So what do you give me for Darnold? Because if in fact, with the first overall pick, you are 100% without a doubt going after Trevor Lawrence, then it would be best to move on from Sam Darnold. Now, here's another vein of thinking that I want to put out there. Now, I had a conversation last night with a gentleman. His name is Jets Draft Tech. He and I, we were chatting a little bit on Facebook. And one of the comments, that's right, Matthias, they could have went with Matt Rule. And they actually had Rule in the building. And the problem is that Mike McCagnon fucked up that deal because they were trying to force Greg Williams on him as a defensive coordinator. They were trying to force other people on him as position coaches, where Rule wanted to pick his own staff. And if I were McCagnon, I wouldn't have tried to force anybody anything. If you're going to hire a head coach and he wants to pick his own staff, you let him pick his own fucking staff. Plain and simple. But no, you get rid of everybody. 2 weeks later, you go hire Greg Williams. Should have just made him the fucking head coach to begin with. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. So now again, one of the things that myself and Jets Draft Tech yesterday were talking about was the prospect, and I want to put this out there as well too, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. The prospects of keeping Sam Darnold, drafting Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, you have a new head coach coming in, new offensive system coming in, and you let these two kids battle it out in training camp, a full training camp with OTAs, with rookie mini camps, with quarterback and receiver camps, and so on and so forth, and may the best man win. If Sam ends up beating out Trevor Lawrence, then you let Trevor Lawrence sit for the first 8 games. And then maybe you make the determination whether or not Sam's on the trading block, you're going to keep him, or you're going to keep Sam for one more year and then jettison him. And then you turn the keys over to Lawrence officially. That's something that could possibly be done. So Simon Baccarella, if they go college coach, maybe if they go after Leach, is possible. Mullen and Braun are 2 other. Dude, I would take Dan Mullen in a fucking heartbeat. Go take a look at the way Georgia dismantled fucking Georgia yesterday. One of the best defenses in the SEC in college football. Dan Mullen's offense? Come on. If anybody watched that Florida-Georgia game yesterday, nobody saw Kyle Trask putting up 4 touchdowns in 30 minutes of football. Come on now. And Kyle Pitts is the real deal. I would love to see him in a New York Jets jersey next year if he declares for the draft. Kyle Pitts. Everybody remember that name because that dude is a beast. Now, Matthias Simon, how bad is Darnold's rotator cuff? The New York Jets have said that Sam Darnold's MRI came back clear, that there's no structural damage, but they're holding him out as per precaution. Now, there was also another unconfirmed report that when Sam practiced, he felt discomfort in the shoulder, and thus it was Gase's decision to shut him down and not allow him to practice. So again, take them all with a grain of salt, because sometimes a lot of the things that come out of the New York Jets organization, especially when it comes to, the injury reports and stuff like that, you got guys that are being spoon-fed information by the Jets PR department. So, but that's a curious spot. So, again, now Simon chimes in, I don't see them keeping both quarterbacks. Yeah, you're right. The only reason why I threw it out there is because on the off chance that maybe that's another option that could be dealt. Because, let's face it, Jimmy Garoppolo has not looked good this year, and he has been completely injury prone for San Francisco. And I mean, you got Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard. You think either one of them, the 49ers are going to win a Super Bowl with one of them? I don't think so. So, Matthias Simon, there we go. Mullen and Trevor Lawrence, sign me up right now. Sign me up right now. Throw Kyle Pitts into that mix. Deuces. CJ will be a super happy camper right there. See that heart, Gator Nation? I'll be doing the chomp like this at freaking Gator at Jet games. So could you imagine? In the offense over there, LaMichael Piron in the backfield, Kyle Pitts at tight end. You got Trevor Lawrence under center. Oh, yeah. So go get me a couple more receivers. So go get me Grimes from Florida. Go get me him. So there are a couple other guys. Matter of fact, there was a dude there from Georgia who played. He actually caught a go-ahead touchdown for Georgia yesterday, and then at the end of the play, he snapped his ankle, and it was a completely horrible injury. But oh my God, that dude was huge, had some wheels. I can't remember the guy's name, but He's another receiver over there. I mean, Georgia's got some pretty good receivers. So as well as Florida. So, dude, the SEC's got some awesome receivers. So if I'm Joe Douglas, I'm looking at the SEC. Yup, get some guards, a center, and tight end. I agree. Well, tight end, go get me Kyle Pitts. I'll be happy with that. So, all right. So other than that, really the biggest question that I have out there for you guys, and I'm going to leave you this. This is how I'm going to end the show for tonight. Do you, as a Jets fan, in your heart of hearts, have the confidence in both Woody and Christopher Johnson that at the end of the year, that they will make the decision to right this ship? And I am very, very curious to hear your responses. And how you can respond to that question is by this. You can follow the show on Twitter at CNC Jets Factor. You can follow me at JetsFan0523, my partner in crime, who's currently not here with me, at Spotty Blackman. Shoot the show an email, weapontoppodcast@gmail.com. Okay, also follow us on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We have an app. You could actually listen and watch and follow live to our broadcasts on the Worldwide Sports Radio Networks via the app. Go to Google Play on Android. Go to the Apple Store on iOS. Download the app. You'll be able to catch not only our show, but all of our shows, including my guest this evening, Errol Marks. Now, you could also reach out to us on Facebook. Weapon Todd has a Facebook page. Shoot us a message because I'm curious to get your responses as to the question that I just ended the show. Again, do you, as a New York Jets fan, have the confidence in Christopher and Woody Johnson to do the right thing, to make the right moves at the end of this season to turn this ship around? And the moves that I'm talking about is firing Adam Gase and giving the keys to the car to Joe Douglas. I'm curious. Some other places where you can get your podcast fix, of course, Sports War Radio. Go to Spreaker.com/Sports War Radio. We're on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher. Go and check us out. We appreciate the feedback. Let us know how we're doing here. Communicate with us, because the only way we can get better is if we hear it from you guys, because we love you guys. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is CJ the Painkiller D. Simone, signing off for tonight. We will see you guys when we see you guys. Peace, love, go Jets. And, of course, I'm still going to leave you tonight with, in my opinion, which is still the best chant in the National Football League. Good night, everybody. Be safe.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.